Hello and welcome to the Air Goddess Network. I am the Air Goddess and welcome to my channel. I'll be pulling for the week of March 13th to March 19th, 2022. I'll be using my alternative card deck, Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti, and then our Energy Oracle will be coming from the Energy Oracle deck by Sandra and Taylor right here. So let's get started. I hope you all had a great weekend and that you were able to spend time with your loved ones, have some free time, rejuvenate, rest, meditate, all that good stuff that brings joy and balance into our lives over a pretty good weekend. And whatever stress you had, that you were able to let it go, let it melt away, fade into the background. So let's see what energy we have that we will be working with this week. On the 18th, which I believe is Friday, we'll be having the full moon in Virgo, so we'll be looking forward to that. So let's see what we have going on. And we have our first card, the Eight of Swords. That is communication energy, air energy. That is Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. So let's get our second card, see what else we have going on. What else we have that we're going to be working with this week. And also now we have the Eight of Cups, another 8 card. So we have some 8s going on, powerful energy. This is emotions in this deck. This is Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. So let's go ahead and see what the message is. So we have the 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords is when you feel trapped or restricted or anything like that. But you ever heard of a bird that doesn't know it's not caged? When you feel like you've been caged for a while and the door is already, someone opens the door, or you realize that the door is already open or has already been open for quite some time, you still have the fear of walking through the door because maybe you feel like once you walk through the door, something bad will happen. It's a fear of the unknown. And the thing is, with that energy, either you're doing it to yourself, which is mostly what it is. You're thinking that, oh, you know, if I go out here and I know I can do the thing, but you know what? I'm afraid that if I do it, I'll get rejected or anything like that. But that's an illusion because it's you that's holding you back. It's as if you know that you can do it, but you fear doing it. And the thing is, when you have fear, it immobilizes you. So this is probably you or a situation that's making you feel as if you can't move, but really it's the thoughts. It's the self-thoughts, the self-restriction that you're doing, because really you can do whatever it is that you want to do once you realize that the door has always been open and it will always be open. It's just that you have to tell yourself that you can do it instead of thinking that someone else is going to hold you back. And even if there is someone that can hold you back, that's just one person. And they're not really holding you back. You have the fear of what they're thinking or saying that could hold you back. And at the end of the day, it's what you think that matters. It's what you do that matters. So as long as you're doing what you know that you can do, and you realize that whatever you put your mind to, you can do, eventually you will do it. So that's with that card. Pretty self-explanatory. You're caging yourself when you don't need to be caged. You're doing it to yourself, not anyone else. You're allowing that energy to keep you stuck right there where you are when there really is no need to be stuck there because it's you doing it to yourself, really. So then you have another 8, this 8 of Cups. Again, this is emotional energy. This is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, and this is water energy. This is saying, okay, you have 8 cups. Now you can move on. Once you realize something is what it is, you can allow yourself to move on. You're not bound to that thing. You're not bound to that place. You're not bound to that person. You're not bound to that situation. You can move on and realize that what was, it is no longer. So these two cards can go hand in hand, because once you let go of an idea that something or someone or a thing, person, place, thing, situation is holding you back, you can move forward, right? Because come on. If you're allowing somebody to hold you back, even if it is just you, once you realize it's you and you're honest with yourself, now you can move forward to more positive things, more positive situation, more positive people and places, right? Because as long as you sit in the cage, you're not going to go anywhere, right? You're not going to go anywhere. And the thing is, if the door is open, why not go through it? It's better than sitting in the cage, right? Wouldn't you agree? Even if it's you holding yourself back, it's better than sitting in the cage. Because even if someone comes and tells you, hey, you can walk out the door. You can walk out the door until you believe you can walk out the door and be okay. There's nothing anybody else can tell you about coming out that door. The whole world can tell you that the sky is blue and the birds are singing and the sun is bright and it's warm outside and there's ice cream and cake and pie and the long lost person you haven't seen in so long that you wanted to see. Anybody could tell you anything, but if you don't believe it yourself, there's nothing that anybody else can say to you until you believe it, right? And until you believe it, you won't be able to move on to better, bigger, brighter places, right? Because you're going to keep yourself in that mind prison of yours, in that mind prison, because this is thinking. Again, this is communicating, whether somebody says it to you, whether you say it to yourself. Until you can communicate to yourself otherwise about what's going on outside of yourself, you won't be able to move on to those bigger, better things that you know that if you just get out of this little rut right here, that you can achieve. But in order to do that, you have to start changing your thinking and your communication style, because the only one that's holding you back really is you. Okay? And until you stop holding yourself back, you won't be able to move on to bigger, better, brighter things, right? I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, also, the number 8 is a power number. It's like a number saying prosperity, abundance, never-ending abundance, because 8 is an infinity symbol sideways, right? So if you can tap into abundance and be infinitely abundant, but you have to believe it first. You have to believe that you can do the thing to get to be infinitely abundant, right? The first thing you have to do is believe it. The first thing you have to believe is that you're not restricted from anything, right? So let's see what's at the bottom of this deck. And we have the Sun card. The Sun. Now, the Sun is a very positive card in any deck. And what it really means is that you have prosperity, you have good health, you have wealth, you have fame. If whatever fame is for you, it doesn't necessarily have to be celebrity status, but it's positive. It's positive. It's the most positive card in the deck. So this is like, this is it really. If you can believe in yourself and believe the fact that you're not restricted, because you're the only one that's restricting yourself, you can move on to the sun, to the warmth, to the light, to abundance. Because the sun, if we didn't have the sun, we wouldn't have plants and we wouldn't have oxygen. The sun helps us thrive, right? So who doesn't want to thrive? I'm sure you want to thrive. I know I do. There's lots of people that want to thrive. But the first thing they have to do in any situation is believe that they can. And once they believe that they can, they move forward to greet the sun, to greet it with open arms, taking a nice big breath and say, I'm glad to be here, in gratitude. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So let's see what our energy oracle has to say about that. Okay, this is like a really quick reading. It's quite, straight to the point, actually. So let's see what our energy has to say. We can do anything we want if we first believe it in our minds to be so. Most of the time we restrict ourselves. We say that we can't do something because we have fear that somebody else isn't going to like it, or we feel like somebody else has already done it. Why should I do it too? But hey, Burger King and McDonald's sell the same thing, burgers and fries, but they're still making millions. Gucci and Prada make purses and belts and whatever else, bracelets and whatnot. And they're making millions. They make the same thing, but they're making millions. Louis Vuitton started off making, tea sets and things like that, but they moved into the luggage business. Now they're making millions, but you also have all these other companies like Samsonite. Now just think for 1 second, if another company saw that Louis Vuitton was making suitcases, I guess we would only have Louis Vuitton, right? Because if people thought that way, we would have only one of everything, because, oh my gosh, they already did it. My tarot decks, the Rider-Waite deck was the first deck, right? Now we have all these other decks. Just imagine if somebody else came along and said, oh, well, we only have the Rider-Waite deck, we shouldn't make anymore. Then we wouldn't have all these renditions of what the tarot is and how people interpret it. And the wonderful thing about all these different people and places is that everyone interprets the same thing differently. Everyone interprets the same thing differently, and that's the beauty of it. It doesn't have your stamp. So go ahead and do that thing somebody else is doing. Just because I'm making a cake doesn't mean you shouldn't make a cake, because maybe your cake has your stamp on it, and that's a wonderful thing. So here is our oracle deck. This is our oracle for this week. It's the woman holding a heart. So let's go find out what that is. There it is. Woman holding a heart, female dealing with family, love, or emotions. It's a female dealing with family, love, or emotions. The woman in this card wears a butterfly in her hair and holds a lovely large heart in her hands. For a woman, this card upright could be a reflection of your own state of peaceful emotion and receptivity for love, or it might be a message that your family issues are going to resolve. You're an intuitive woman who understands the emotions of life, and you're bringing that awareness to all that you do. This card upright could also indicate the presence of a female friend, teacher, or confidant who's here to help with issues of love, family, or emotion. This is an even-tempered and caring person who resonates with you and your emotions. This could also portend a new love interest or friend coming your way. So, the woman holding the heart. Okay, this is someone who is intuitive, right? So if you can think and think through and intuit that maybe you're holding yourself back, and that once you realize that you're the one that's holding yourself back, you can think of all the ways that you can move forward into a more positive spot in your life, whether it be a place, whether it be at work or in your mind. It's all about your perspective, your emotional perspective. And once you can change your mind, you can change your emotional perspective, and that way you can end up with what you want most, what you need most, which comes through gratitude. And through gratitude comes abundance, comes wealth, health, and vitality. And at the end of the day, that's all the universe wants for us to have: wealth, health, and vitality. So don't hold yourself back. Think of all the ways that you can move forward, because the door is open and you're the one who has to walk through it. You have to believe that you can walk through that door to a more positive future, to a more positive place. And once you do that, you can have whatever it is that your heart desires, because now you are in the light and you can use the light to cultivate your garden of dreams. Okay, so I hope this resonated with you all. I hope you have a great week this week. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this reading, and I'll see you soon. And as always, I am the Air Goddess. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you for watching.